For those of you who watch my videos regularly, you know that I like tennis. It is my favorite sport to watch, and it is also my favorite sport to play, although the only opponent I enjoy playing against is my garage door. I may have also mentioned that Rafael Nadal is not exactly my favorite tennis player, but that doesn't mean I like it when people freak out about his ability to play the sport. On Sunday, Rafa lost to Andy Murray in the Madrid final. I didn't watch the match because, well, I forgot it was on and I didn't know who was playing in it. Some tennis fan I am. See, it was Andy's first victory against Rafa on clay. That loss, coupled with Raonic and Burdick gaining some points, dropped Nadal to 7th in the ATP rankings and out of the top 5 for the first time since 2005. He was, coincidentally, 7th the last time he was out of the top 5 as well. Now, both of these things have caused alarm bells to go off in the minds of both sports writers and the internet. This is Rafa's third loss on clay this season, which is, well, rare. He's also only won a singles match this season, which is also rare. So people have begun to ask the question, is Rafa on the decline? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't. But I do know that he's recovering from an injury, and I do know that only 3 out of his 8 losses this season have come before the quarterfinals in a tournament. I also know that his tournament is just around the corner. Not that any of this is reassuring to a Rafa fan, however. I remember when Roger fell a couple of years ago, I was really worried, but now he's 2nd and playing, reasonably well. Who knows what'll happen? See, the biggest problem that people are having with this drop for Rafa is his drop to 7th. But here's the dirty little secret. You see, the difference between 4th place and 7th place is only 170 points. That is a very tight race. With Rome this week, all he has to do is make it to the final to maintain his points and hope that every one of the players between him and 4th place loses points. It'll be hard seeing that every single match Nishikori wins will gain him points, and he already has 45 without even playing a single match. Or Nadal could win. He lost 400 points by losing Madrid. He could gain it all back by winning there in Rome. Nothing is set in stone, and he could, in fact, just lose his next match. And not that any of that matters, because the only way he's going to be seeded in the top 4 for the French Open will be if he makes it back into the top 4 before they announce the seedings for the tournament. His seeding will not be raised up. The 4 majors, the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open, all have the ability to adjust seedings as they see fit. But only Wimbledon has done this. And what a slap in the face to Rafa. You know how you've won this tournament every single year for the last decade except once? That's not enough for us to help you. So what if you're having an off spring? So what if you were injured for most of last season? This is on you. I mean, sure, you've single-handedly raised the profile of this tournament, and I think most people wouldn't even care if they weren't hoping you were going to win your 10th. If we can learn one thing from this whole debacle, it's that you can never count a player out until they count themselves out. I don't expect Andy Roddick to make a comeback, although he could, but I fully expect Rafa to. We can also learn the rankings are not a good indication for how well the player is playing at the moment. Novak could go into a slump, and it would take several tournaments for him to not be ranked #1 overall. Also, if you're worried that Rafa is 7th right now, remember that after the French Open, he played 4 tournaments. 4. One of them being Wimbledon, and the other 3 were at the end of the season. Every other tournament, including the US Open, will essentially be free points, as long as he plays. Anytime a player with the prestige of a Rafael Nadal starts to struggle, there's always talk of him hanging it up. I mean, it was that way with Federer, and he proved all of them wrong, for the most part. So is there cause for alarm? I don't know. But I do know this. Great players rarely give up without a fight, and Rafael Nadal is nothing if not a fighter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Friday.